Homeless girl accused of witchcraft saves billionaire's daughter. Shocking twist revealed. In the bustling city of Lagos, where the sun painted the skyline gold and the streets thrummed with the heartbeat of a million dreams, lived a girl named Amara. She was no older than 16, with eyes that held the wisdom of ancient baobab trees and a spirit as resilient as the harmattan winds. Amara was homeless, her days spent weaving through crowded markets, scavenging for scraps, and her nights curled beneath a tattered blanket under the Ojudu Bridge. Yet, despite her hardships, she carried a quiet grace, a flicker of something extraordinary that the world had yet to see. The city whispered tales of Amara, but not of her kindness or her courage. Instead, they spoke of her as a witch. Her uncanny ability to find lost trinkets in the market, her habit of whispering to the wind, and the strange way birds seemed to linger near her sparked suspicion among the superstitious. "She's cursed," they said, pointing to her ragged clothes and solitary existence. "A child of the night, weaving spells to steal our luck." Amara ignored the rumors, but the weight of their words pressed against her heart like stones. Across the city, in a glass tower that pierced the clouds, lived Tunde Adeyemi, a billionaire whose wealth could buy entire villages, yet whose heart ached with a sorrow money couldn't mend. His daughter, Ife, lay bedridden, her once vibrant spirit fading like a flower under a relentless sun. Doctors from London, New York, and Johannesburg had come and gone, their diagnoses as varied as the stars, but none could cure her. Ife's illness was a mystery, a shadow that grew darker with each passing day. Tunde's wealth meant nothing in the face of his daughter's suffering, and despair began to settle in his bones. One sweltering afternoon, as Amara sifted through a pile of discarded fruit in the market, she overheard a group of traders gossiping. "Tunde Adeyemi's offering a fortune to anyone who can heal his daughter," one said, fanning herself with a cloth. "Millions of naira, a house, anything you want, if you can bring her back." Amara's ears perked up. She didn't care for wealth, but the thought of a girl her age suffering stirred something deep within her. She clutched the small, carved wooden pendant around her neck, a gift from her late grandmother, who had taught her the old ways: herbs, prayers, and the secrets of the earth. Amara's grandmother had been a healer, revered in their village before tragedy struck, and left Amara alone in the world. The pendant, warm against her skin, seemed to pulse with memory. She remembered her grandmother's words. "The earth speaks to those who listen, Amara. Trust its wisdom, and it will guide you." Could she help this girl, Ife? The thought was daunting, but the whispers of the wind seemed to urge her forward, carrying the scent of possibility. That evening, Amara made her way to the Adeyemi estate, her bare feet slapping against the hot pavement. The guards at the gate sneered at her disheveled appearance. "Go back to your bridge, witch," one spat, his hand on a baton. But Amara stood tall, her voice steady. "I've come to help Ife Adeyemi. I know the old ways. Let me see her." The guards laughed, but something in her eyes, a fire they couldn't name, made them hesitate. They called for Tunde, expecting him to send her away. Tunde, weary and desperate, emerged from the mansion. He studied Amara, her thin frame swallowed by a faded wrapper, her gaze unflinching. "Why should I trust you?" he asked, his voice heavy with skepticism. "Doctors with degrees from the best universities have failed. What can a street girl do?" Amara met his gaze. "I don't have degrees, but I have the Earth's secrets. If I fail, you lose nothing. If I succeed, your daughter lives." Her words, simple yet bold, struck a chord. Tunde, against his better judgment, allowed her inside, warning her that failure would mean exile from the city, or worse. The mansion was a labyrinth of marble and gold, but Amara's eyes were drawn to the garden beyond the glass walls, where herbs and flowers grew in neat rows. She felt a tug, a whisper from the earth, guiding her. In Ife's room, she found a girl pale and fragile, her breaths shallow, her eyes dull. Amara knelt beside her, placing a hand on her forehead. The room was silent, save for the soft hum of Amara's voice as she whispered words in a tongue no one recognized, not quite Yoruba, not quite anything known. Tunde watched, his heart a battlefield of hope and doubt. Amara asked for a bowl of water, fresh mint, and a sprig of lemongrass from the garden. The servants scrambled to obey, though their eyes brimmed with suspicion. Amara crushed the herbs, mixing them with the water and a pinch of soil she carried in a small pouch. She dipped her pendant into the mixture, whispering, "Earth, lend me your strength." She pressed Ife's lips, coaxing her to drink. Hours passed, and nothing changed. Tunde's patience waned, his voice sharp. "You're wasting my time, girl." But Amara remained calm, her eyes fixed on Ife. As dawn broke, a miracle unfolded. Ife's cheeks flushed with color, her breaths deepened, and her eyes fluttered open. She looked at Amara, a faint smile breaking through. "I dreamed of a forest," she whispered, "and a girl who sang to the trees." The room erupted in gasps. Tunde fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face as he clutched his daughter's hand. The servants, who had whispered "witch" behind Amara's pack, now stared in awe. Word of the miracle spread like wildfire through Lagos, transforming Amara from a pariah to a savior overnight. Tunde offered her wealth, a home, anything she desired, but Amara asked only for a small plot of land to grow herbs and a chance to learn, to ensure no one else suffered as Ife had. But the story didn't end there. The shocking twist came weeks later, when Ife, now strong and vibrant, began to exhibit strange abilities. She could predict the rain before clouds gathered, find lost objects with a glance, and soothe animals with a touch. The city, quick to judge, turned its gaze back to Amara. "She's cursed the girl," they cried, their old fears resurfacing. The whispers grew louder, accusing Amara of passing her witchcraft to Ife. Amara, now living in a modest home Tunde had provided, felt the weight of suspicion once more. But Ife, fiercely loyal, defended her. "Amara didn't curse me," she told her father. "There's something bigger here, something we don't understand." Intrigued, Tunde hired researchers to investigate. They uncovered an ancient Yoruba legend about a lineage of healers, women who could channel the earth's energy to heal and awaken latent gifts in others. Amara, they believed, was the last of this line, her grandmother's pendant a relic of that power. The researchers found traces of rare minerals in the soil Amara used, minerals that, when combined with her herbs, could stimulate dormant neural pathways. Ife's illness, they theorized, was a suppression of her natural gifts, and Amara's remedy had unlocked them. The city's accusations began to fade, replaced by a grudging respect for Amara's wisdom. Amara, however, cared little for fame. She tended her garden, taught Ife the old ways, and began healing others who came to her door. The billionaire's daughter and the homeless girl became inseparable, their bond a bridge between worlds. Lagos, once quick to condemn, began to see Amara as a guardian, her name whispered not in fear, but in reverence. As years passed, Amara and Ife transformed their small plot of land into a sanctuary, a place where the sick were healed, the lost found guidance, and the earth's wisdom was shared with all who sought it. The sanctuary became a beacon in Lagos, drawing people from across Nigeria and beyond. Amara trained others, passing on her grandmother's teachings, ensuring the old ways would not be forgotten. Ife, with her newfound gifts, became a voice for the marginalized, using her father's influence to advocate for the homeless and the misunderstood. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the sanctuary, Amara and Ife sat beneath a sprawling acacia tree. Amara held her pendant, now worn smooth by time, and smiled at Ife. "The world tried to break us," she said softly, "but we listened to the earth, and it made us whole." Ife nodded, her eyes bright. "And we'll keep listening, for as long as the wind speaks." The moral of this tale is clear. Never judge a heart by its circumstances, for true wisdom and strength often hide in the humblest of places. Amara's courage and Ife's loyalty remind us to look beyond appearances, to trust in the unseen, and to embrace the gifts that lie within us all. When we listen to the world with open hearts, we find miracles in the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more tales of courage, wisdom, and wonder, don't forget to subscribe. Your support keeps these stories alive, bringing light to the lessons of the past and the hope of the future.